Welcome to the 6th round of WTSS Season 7. We're at the Iowa Speedway, a track in which has recently gotten a patch job. Last few seasons of WTSS at Iowa, we've been under the lights on an aging track surface, but now renovations have been made. The track drives completely different than what we've seen in the past. It's going to be a learning experience through this entire 10 minutes of qualifying. Who puts it on the pole at Iowa? Fresh off of race number 5. And it was an absolute... You just didn't know what was going to happen next. I mean, it looked all set and done for Alex Constantine to get 2 wins in a row after taking the lead early on, or late in the going. But a crash off of turn number 2 that effectively blocked the track denied him of that victory and ultimately handed the win to the man he had taken that lead from, Ryan Reed. Setting the early pace is Fabio Vitavasa currently, but most cars have still not even entered out onto the racetrack yet. And speaking of Ryan Reed, he puts it up to the top in that number 90 car. This is the 4th short track of the short track stretch. And RRE will be ruining it because they've only won one of the 3 races, when in reality they could have won all 3 of these short track races so far. And we're going to see tire temperatures building up as they rubber the track in. See faster and faster times. Not really known what kind of tire wear we're going to be seeing here either. All we know is that the different materials and different ages of surface through the corners is going to produce possibly some multi-groove racing here. Jeff McLennan in the 87. He's impressed on the short tracks decently well. Up to the top spot at the moment. Mitchell Mark in the 28. He's somebody to keep an eye on. He's been a bit quiet these last few weeks, but the momentum that he has sustained throughout this run to start the season off has been immense and should not be overlooked. It was announced during the week that Long John Silver's would be cutting back sponsorship of the Bend Over Racing Squad to only being an associate sponsor from here on out. The 69 team did not have adequate time to find a primary sponsor as a result, and now have a self-proclaimed Sponsor Me car with different spots in which companies can put their logos and even a contact address on the back to reach Team Boss Bend Over. But unfortunately, at the moment, they could not find anybody to put on that car for this weekend at Iowa. Top of the board, number 46, the rookie, Roberto Crown Jr. Now, you want to talk about somebody who's been quiet this season so far. That is somebody who has had a quiet start to this season, as Jake Stavinaugh goes to the top. We'll get to that in a moment. Roberto Crown Jr. has shown really strong pace in some of these races. It's not like he's been invisible this season, but he's been mostly out of the limelight. Chonarong Wongzawat to the top of the board. Another rookie going up to the top of the board for Rocket Atkinson.
They've been impressing this early in the year.
For a team that had no prior experience to anything other than touring cars, as we have an engine failure for the man who's 3rd quickest, Chris Louviere.
Oh man, that's another tough break for the Maverick Super.
I think that's the 5th engine failure of the season for Maverick. And we're in race 6. Luckily, he's going to limp it back to the pits here, but that is qualifying effectively over for Louviere. They're gonna maybe have enough time to get back out there, but he'll have to spend all that time building the tire temps back up again. Chris Dodd jumps up to 2nd quickest. The season opener winner at Canadian Tire, trying to regain his momentum after a few off weekends. And he goes to the top of the board. Chris Dodd goes quickest. He won the pole at Canadian Tire and won that race. He has a huge pole-to-win conversion rate in his career. That is an important position for that 8 car to start from. Louvier, though,
Yeah.
there are no to the rear of the field rules in WTSS, so Louvier will not have to pay a massive price for that other than a lack of track time. He's still 4th quickest at the moment, even with that engine issue. Sean Angels jumped up into the top 5. I see Daniel Voiles has popped into the top 10, as well as Scott Roush and Daniel Giroux. And there he is, point leader Shrimp Engritz, right on cue, right as we were looking at the top 10, as Chris Louvier's already back out on the racetrack, and he barges his way onto the track and actually bumps into the side of Aiden Shepard there, exiting the pits. And William Duncan up to the 2nd position. Maverick has been a team that has been loathing their performance on the short tracks to start off the year, but they have 2 of their cars up in the top 5 currently, with Duncan going to 2nd quickest at the moment. We're down to the final 3.5 minutes before standby for everybody, where everybody will get to finish their laps. I think, did he just match his time 2 laps in a row? He did. He did a 23.023 2 laps in a row. But now he's got the 18 of Jake Stevens just ahead of him. He will not improve this lap. Alex Constantine in the 64 is 2nd to last at the moment. They have unloaded with an unhappy car, and he's not finding any time out there.
I mean, that car was totaled after last week, Richmond, and the car they came back with does not look like it's doing well right now.
No, it does not, at least as a baseline. Sean Angel jumps up to 3rd quickest in the 58, but crucially, no one has been able to sniff underneath that 23-second mark. 23.004 is the benchmark set by Chris Dodd.
Reed was also 35th, I think.
Wow, yeah, Ryan Reed, your winner in last weekend, actually, in Richmond. It's 36th place. I like I said at the start of the broadcast, it is a brand new track surface. Drivers who've ran here before, it's like a new racetrack the way that it drives now. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's some teams that tried to use setup notes from previous years and or tried to copy other teams' setup notes from previous years and it just did not work out in their favor, and they got to make some adjustments now. Reed is starting to pick the pace up. He just got a 23-27 that time. James Gibson jumps up into the top 10, 7th quickest. That's a driver who really needs to pick me up after this start of the season he's had. We're into the final 1.5 minutes of before standby. And no one has been able to encroach on Chris Dodd's fastest time so far. But it is only 0.06 of a second separating the top 10. So it's fine margins out there to try and find some time. Mark Nutt jumps up into the top 5 to 5th quickest with a 23.04. Louvier's already back out there and turning just as quick a lap times as he was turning before. Reed has improved up to a 26th position lap. Championship leader Shrimp Engritz is 10th quickest. And it looks like they're just in the pits adjusting the 64 car. They've conceded he will start last in this race. So the Turbo Sports team, they are throwing the kitchen sink at this thing in the pits right now and have just given up on this qualifying session to just adjust the car. And we have a crash in qualifying. Mitchell Mark in the 28 has had an incident of some sort. Oh, Elijah Innes was coming out of the pits. And he merged up into the 28, who didn't, I don't think he realized he was going to do that as quickly as he did up the racetrack. Him recovering from that might cost anybody a chance at finishing a quick lap. Qualifying expires. Can anybody find a time? We have 4 seconds left of standby for anybody to jump up the order. And I don't believe anybody did. Chris Dodd, the pole sitter at the season opener in Canadian Tire, has just gotten his second pole of the season, the first to do a repeat all year, and it's on an oval rather than a road course to start the season off, so that is a crucial qualifying for him if he wants to climb back up the points order. Duncan, Angel, Wongzawat, Nutt, Stavina, Louviere, Gibson, Crown Jr., and Engritz, your top 10 here at Iowa. Bishelia, Voiles, Mark, Smith, and Tamura, your top 15. The rest of the running order is as follows. Obviously, Maverick Motorsports have learned some things from the previous 3 short tracks that have allowed them to get this solid of a qualifying out of it. But crucially, in my opinion, the biggest headline of them all is Alex Constantine starting dead last for this race after the run of momentum he's had on the short tracks. That singular crash at Richmond has completely thrown everything out the window, and they are scrambling to find that pace again. And it will be Chris Dodd on the pole at Iowa Speedway. We'll see you for the race.